Are you in the market for top-notch digital equipment such as mills, scanners, or furnaces?
Well, God, time is now. Ivoclar has introduced unbeatable rates exclusively for customers in North America.
Ivoclar has made it easy for you to invest in cutting-edge digital equipment with, ready for this, lower than prime interest rates.
I think that's no pun intended, but whether you're looking to upgrade your milling capabilities, enhance your scanning technology, or optimize your furnace performance, Ivoclar Digital has you covered.
To take advantage of this offer, the dedicated digital specialists at Ivoclar are ready to assist you. For details on how to get in touch, visit voicesfromthebench.com and select the Ivoclar tab to find all the information you need to get started. And as always, we appreciate your sponsorship of the podcast, Ivoclar. Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 300 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
And my name is 300. We have got to be doing backflips right now. Awesome. Congrats.
I remember when we hit 100, I remember when we hit 200, and I can't believe we're talking about the 300th episode.
Oh my God, we are. And we've got 3 months of interviews already locked and loaded for the next 300?
Not quite that many, but we got quite a few lined up for early 24.
Yes.
And if anyone is listening to this on Christmas, the day it's released,
oh,
major props to you.
Yeah, for listening to the podcast.
Not only is it 300 episodes, we have over 272 hours of content with us talking to amazing people in this industry.
And we've gotten a couple props lately, like people that I've known in the industry were like, you know what, I really wanted to know something about something, and I listened to the podcast. And I was just like, damn. You know, we hear it all the time. Pull it up, listen to that episode, learn some stuff, figure out what you need to know. So I'm really proud. And thank you. And Merry Christmas.
And same to you. Happy holidays for those that don't celebrate Christmas.
Yep.
I don't mean to boast our own amazing accomplishment, but damn, do I feel good about doing 300 episodes.
Yeah, me too. Way back when, 5-6 years ago. I didn't even know what a podcast was. And now we're going on 300. It's a milestone.
Absolutely.
And let's celebrate in Vegas at the Visions meeting. Let's, with all our friends, we should have a little bit of a get-together party and just,
We should. You know what also? I want to hear from anybody out there that's listened to all 300 episodes. Other than myself, is there anybody out there that say they've listened to every single episode?
And what are we going to give them? I think we should give them one of those amazing Chicago shirts. How about that?
That's not a bad idea.
I bought 7, so I think we can give one up.
Yeah, you can give one of yours.
I am. That's my point.
How do we have somebody prove that they've listened to? Well, I'll come up with a quiz that only diehard fans would be able to answer.
Wow. Damn. I think that's pretty intense. Go for it. I know it'll be Joe.
Yeah, probably. Way to go, Joe.
Hi, Joe. I got you a shirt too. Just saying.
So yeah, let's talk about the shirts. These kind of skyrocketed. Last minute kind of decision to do shirts. We've been selling them on our social media for a while, but this is our first chance talking about it here on the podcast.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't even the shirt part that sold me on these things. The company that we always use to sell shirts, Bonfire, all of a sudden I get this email saying they're doing limited runs of zippered hoodies.
Oh, I love those.
I'm a big fan of a zippered hoodie. Like, I have 0 hoodies in my life, but I probably have 8 or 9 zippered hoodies.
Yep.
Occasionally, Barb and I like to come up with a quirky t-shirt to kind of just spread some love in the dental lab world and also raise money for the Foundation of Dental Laboratory Technology, which we are huge.
By the way, you're on the board finally, which is a perfect spot for you.
Yeah, they asked, and I said, sure, why not?
I'm
And
so proud of
happy
you.
to be part of the boards again.
Yep.
I kind of came up with this retro ad looking idea that says,
How do you come up with these retro any ad ideas? Like, what do you do? Like, lay up all night long and think of shit?
well, yeah, I do reach out to the fans of Voices from the Bench. If you're on that page, you probably saw my initial post of just looking for
I did.
Yeah, something interesting to put on the shirt, and it just kind of grew from there. And I went to Google and looked at different images, and we came up with the saying, dental technicians making dentists look good since the 1700s.
And I saw it go back and forth. Was it at that early? Was it later?
There was
this?
quite the spirited debate going on about when the first dental technician was recorded in history. Because initially I went with the date of 1887.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, which was when the first commercial dental lab was established. But some
Who
interesting...
came up with the 1700s? I know it was somebody. I don't know if you want to name them. But...
No, Paulo, a good friend of ours, past podcast guest, sent in an article from IDT Magazine that said that Paul Revere is kind of thought of as the first dental technician sometime in the early 1700s. I had no idea.
I bet it was horse teeth, wasn't it?
Yeah, but of course. But you know, Paul Revere, that guy was like, the British are coming, the British are coming. Which
he was a dental technician?
Apparently.
Oh my God.
But it starts to make sense when you think about it, because he was probably the only one still up late at night working when the British came, and he was the only one that saw it.
All right. Yeah, well, that sounds like it. If the shoe fits.
I'm getting off on a tangent here.
All right.
So yeah, we put this great logo on the back of our shirt. So please head over to voicesfromthebench.com/zippered. I had to call it something. And you'll find a link to these amazing hoodies. We also have shirts. We have long sleeves. Somebody wanted a tank top, so why not?
Oh, I know, Elvis, but they're selling so many of them.
They're going fast.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, and they're print to order. So you have to order it before January 6th of 2024.
Yeah, so giddy up. Giddy up. Giddy up.
None of this BS about you contacting me on January 7th asking if they're still available.
That.
Yeah.
And people see us wearing them and everybody in Chicago wearing them. You're going to be like, oh, I want one. Well, come on. Let's go.
Get on the ball here. So voicesfromthebench.com/zippered. Or any of our social media will be posting constantly about it.
Nice.
So this week, we kind of followed up from last week's episode.
True to that.
Well, we talked to Dr. Ahmad from the Institute of Digital Dentistry, and he briefly talked about the lady he met that ended up doing that amazing exocad course that I keep talking about.
And you're a student, so you know.
I am.
Yeah.
I haven't finished yet. I haven't let people know that I'm still working on it. It was, of course, fate that I saw her on Instagram and knew that we had to have her on the podcast. All the way from Brazil, but via New Zealand, we got to meet Marjorie Andrade. Marjorie tells us a story of her learning about the world of teeth, going to school, getting into digital at her first lab, starting to do freelance design work in a non-creepy way, connecting with the good folks at IDD, recording that exocad course, and then moving across the world for the ultimate lab opportunity.
She's got balls, y'all.
Huge.
Bigger balls.
It's a fantastic story that we want you to remember while you're listening to this, that Marjorie started most of this journey less than 5 years ago.
And not knowing English.
It's pretty crazy. So join us as we chat with Marjorie Andrade. Whether you're looking to elevate your craftsmanship or looking to cut back on cost, look no further.
VITA MFT teeth are the ultimate solution for creating lifelike and stunning smiles.
Crafted with precision and backed by cutting-edge technology, VITA MFT teeth offer unparalleled aesthetics and durability.
And since VITA believes in the power of experiencing excellence firsthand, for a limited time only, they are offering you the chance to get a complimentary case sample.
That's right, a full case absolutely free. Just visit vitanorthamerica.com/free MFT.
Don't wait any longer to start providing your customers a premium tooth at an economy price. Redeem your free case sample, and if you're ready to buy, VITA will even give you an extra 10% off discount by shopping online on their newly launched online store.
Join the VITA family today, and we appreciate your support of the podcast.
Hey, it's Candelor from Switzerland. We have been designing teeth since 1936. Successful tooth design knows only one benchmark: your own standards and those of your patients. Discover our tooth line PhysioSet TCR with new 18 anterior molds, manufactured specially for the US market and your daily work at your bench. If you are looking for new options in removable, get to know us at candelor.com and find out more. You will be supported and supplied by our authorized dealer, Edmunds Dental Supply. Candelor, high-end only.
Voices from the Bench. The interview. So, Barb, I'm super excited today. We have a very special guest on the podcast. Someone that has taken it upon herself to teach me exocad without even knowing it.
Nice. I like it.
Welcome to the podcast, Marjorie Andrade.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting
Yay.
me, guys. Yeah, I'm so happy.
Yay. Happy to have you.
Absolutely. The last episode we did, we talked to a doctor out of New Zealand, and we kind of touched upon how you came into his life and indirectly into my life.
Yep.
But Marjorie, let's find out a little bit more about your history. How did you get into dental lab technology?
Well, I would say that my career actually started like a long time ago, but that's not actually 100% true. But I left high school, and then I needed to decide something like what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I was like 17, 18. I had some friends that they used to go to university already and were doing graphic design. So on the same building, they had also product design or industrial design. It got me interested because I always liked the idea of like drawing something and then bringing this idea to life. I think I always liked, doing stuff with my hands, like kind of handcraft and all that. So for product design, I went to some lectures, I saw what it was, and then I like this. I'm going to give it a shot.
So are we talking like industrial CAD design?
Yeah, like when I started, it was like hand drawing, but it was kind of like industrial product development. That would be something.
Like what were you drawing? Just like buildings and stuff? I don't know.
It was mainly during university, it was like furniture or products itself, like some, new microwave or new idea for, I don't know. Just
Well,
like
that's fun.
I've never seen that. That's great.
yeah.
Someone has to sketch out the microwave.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, it was really interesting. I also didn't know like what it was. I just wanted to, draw stuff and then bring them to life. And at the time, it was about 10 years ago, 13 years ago, maybe. And they had one 3D printer there that everyone needed to use and share with each other because there was only one at the time. So yeah, that's why I say like my career also in dentistry and digital dentistry started like a long time ago, because it was there that I started having a look at what 3D printing was, what 3D modeling was. I was using other types of softwares, not obviously not exocad, but there was one called Rhinoceros.
Rhino?
Rhino, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Blender, we've heard of Blender.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Blender, yeah. Now they're doing more for dental stuff, but at the time it
Sure.
was only for like
Microwaves and stuff, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Furniture.
So what did you
Furniture,
do?
yeah.
You designed like the furniture or the microwave and then printed out a copy of it so you could take a look at it?
Yeah, so that was the idea at the time, but also like because it was so expensive to, have the 3D printer and the at the time it was FDM
Mm-hmm.
filaments, not
Mm-hmm.
resin.
Oh, yeah, like the
Yeah.
melted. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we used to use a 3D printer only for specific parts, and then the rest we would do with wood or metal or plastic, whatever we had at the time, and would just like manually build it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now this wasn't in New Zealand where you're at now, right?
No, that was back in Brazil. So yeah, I'm from Brazil originally. I'm just in New Zealand for 10 months. But then, yeah, I was, I got my degree on this area, industrial
Mm-hmm.
design. But then happened that I didn't really like it that much when I was, looking for work. It wasn't so good, the payment and all the compensation and all that. And I was starting to get a little depressed over it. I was like, I just spent 4 years of my life and now like I'm
Yeah.
not
Now what am I going
finding
to do? Yeah.
as exactly. And then in 2018, my mom was driving and she saw like a poster or something from a dental tech school. And
Ah.
then
Mm.
yeah, she looked online. She saw that it was kind of like the same thing but different. we know
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but a lot of like handscraft, and there was a bit of digital already. And then she told me like, why don't you look it up? Like, never know, right? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna look it up, see what's up. And ended up that I loved it. I'm very passionate about it, and since then it's just like been a crazy ride.
So did you call that company that was on the billboard and get a job there, or did you just go online and check it out and see what it was about, and then what?
Yeah, so that the poster was about the a dental tech school, because in Brazil it's not like a degree, it's like polytech.
Mm-hmm.
So I called them. It was in my city. I was just like, can I just go and see what are you guys up to? Like how
Yeah.
how does it work? I went there, saw some classes. I was pretty interested. I liked it a lot. And then I think the same year I applied to the course, to the dental technology course.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I started. It was 2018. I spent the first year not working in the area. I was still doing some like other jobs because I had no experience, right? So nobody would,
Yeah.
yeah, nobody would hire me. So I was just like going to class, trying to get a knowledge about, dentistry and all that. And then I would apply for work later.
So you didn't go right into the digital aspect of the school, so or the class. What did they teach you? I mean, I'm sure was it all analog?
Yeah, yeah, it was all analog, and it took me a while to find out about digital because I had no idea. And I think in Brazil things are a bit slower. Like, I don't know how it is in the US with the dental tech schools, but there it took a lot of time for them to include that in the curriculum.
Hmm.
It's the same here. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
taken them a while just to stay up on the trends and the technology
For
and money
sure.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, right, right. So it's actually a funny story because I graduated 2020. It's only
Mm-hmm.
2 years, and it's a bit weird because it's only once in a month. It's like 2 days in a month, not like every
For
day.
school?
Yeah.
You went two
Wow.
days a month
Yes.
for 2 years?
Thanks,
Yes.
Mom.
That is strange.
Yeah, that's why it's very difficult to validate the diploma everywhere else because the standards. For example, here in New Zealand, it's almost like a bachelor. You go to dental tech school like
Yeah.
every day. You know what I mean? So the hours they are very different. So that's why like it's very difficult to validate the diploma.
How big was your class? Was there a lot of people doing it?
It was around 15. I mean, it started like 20, but then people started dropping. And,
Well,
like,
yeah, if you only go
Normal.
twice a month.
yeah, exactly. But it's funny because like I think that gave people the opportunity for like there were people from Paraguay, other other countries, they would drive 15 hours to go to the class.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think that's why they did it just once every month. But the bad thing is, well, I didn't learn a lot, obviously.
No.
Yeah,
I
so
wouldn't retain anything.
that's how I felt. That's why, like, I was like, I'm not prepared to work anywhere. I know nothing, you know. So yeah, after around 2 years, I graduated, and then I went back to the director from the school, and I said, look, because I was already working. I'm gonna explain the story, but it's funny because
Yeah.
I went back and then I said, look, I know about something about digital. Do you want me to give lectures to the new classes, because I think that it's important. Like you cannot escape this anymore. It's coming like a wave, and you guys need to update, because it's
Good
gonna be.
for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
So what? You just
yeah.
knew you wanted to teach?
Yes, exactly. So I was like, listen, like just call me and I come. And then I went there for a couple of days to give lectures about digital dentistry. And
While you were still taking the course or after you graduated?
it was like shortly after I graduated.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
like a couple months. Yeah.
And what did you teach them on? 'Cause where did you get your experience with digital if the school didn't have it?
No, not at school. So after 1 year that I was taking, the classes, it was 2019. I started
Uh-huh.
to, knock on labs doors, and I was like, hey, my name is Marjorie. Do you mind if I just, come in and watch you guys work? And most of people were like, we're kind of busy, sorry, which I
Yeah, that's kind of
understand.
creepy. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Which I kind of understand now that I work in a busy lab. I'm like,
Oh
yeah,
God, yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
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 But then, but then there was this one lab owner that was friends with my uncle, and
Mm-hmm.
I went to my uncle and I said, like, look, can you talk to him? I just want to, like, I don't want to get paid. I don't want anything. I just want to be there and just watch them work, see what they're doing. So I did that for a couple of months, and then after that, I applied for a apprenticeship in another
Ah,
lab.
Yep.
smart
Yes,
woman.
yes, yeah. So I started doing the basics, like plaster, cleaning the lab, doing some basic work.
Sure.
Yeah, but that was 2019, and then I stayed doing that for around a year, doing only analog and provisionals, plaster, and all that. And then in 2020, right before COVID, like just like a month before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
I got a job at a full digital lab.
Ah, good for you.
Yes, and then but I knew nothing. I don't
Well, that's
know.
what I was going to say. Why did they hire you? I'm going to ask a bad question, but if you
Well,
didn't have any digital experience,
Yeah.
they're willing to teach you at all?
So I think I was a bit annoying because I went there probably like 5 times. I was just like,
Oh, persistence.
yeah,
Yeah. I
I
love
didn't
it.
need it.
yeah. I was like, oh yeah, I was just passing by the street, just came to say hi. How are you guys doing? Like, and then
Remember me?
exactly. And then I think they saw potential, I guess. And we saw each other, like the guys from the lab, the owners, and
Mm-hmm.
me. We were at the same event. It was like the biggest dental expo in South America. It happens in Sao
Oh,
Paulo
nice.
every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we went there, and I met them there. It was not like,
Mm-hmm.
they just saw me and they're like, oh, hey, you're here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here.
She's following us everywhere.
It's like this creep going everywhere. Uh, and I think they saw that was like I was very interested and very like
Yeah.
persistent. I think that's why they bet on me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Weren't you able to use your original skills from, when you first went to school? Did it marry up pretty quickly and easily for you once you actually got a digital job?
I think it actually helped me a lot because I learned way faster than everyone or
Yeah.
anyone that I knew at the time. And also, I think something that also happened is they were changing the team because it was a small lab, but they
Mm-hmm.
had
Mm-hmm.
the Sirona system, like the milling
Oh, great. I
machine.
mean, yay.
Yeah, exactly. So they were like the ceramist and the guy who did a bit of digital. They were leaving, so there was no one in the company, just the
Oh, it's
owners.
Oh,
always trial
geez.
by fire in what we do. Here you go, sit
Yes,
down and design a tooth.
exactly. That was exactly how it was.
Yeah.
So you started on Sirona in lab.
Yeah, like when I got in the lab, like they changed the ceramist and the other guy, and then I came in with another ceramist. It was just the two of us, and they had only the in lab at the time, and it was like kind of weird. I don't know. I think they found out about exocad right in the beginning, and they said
Yeah.
like, "Are you interested in learning?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." Like I don't even know what that was, but yeah, sure.
Yes.
And then they paid a like private professor, like teacher, to come teach me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exocad. And then he stayed with us in the lab for 6 days, like
Nice.
from basics to advanced. But I mean, like I didn't understand anything of the advanced part.
Wait, you learned dental technology in a 2-year, twice a month program, and you learned exocad in 6 full days.
I think so. But I mean,
That's insane.
it wasn't good though. I have to say.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, the ceramist, he was like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like every time. And then he would spend hours with me just correcting my work because, I could do the workflow, I could understand the
Yeah.
tools, but I didn't know
Yep.
anything about tooth, like what makes a tooth what it is. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the ceramist, he would sit down and just like show me, no, this is a ridge. This is like this. You have to do it like this, not like a block. You have to have ridges, and it's a 3-dimensional object. You have to do like this, and yeah, that's how it was.
Teeth touch, man.
Yeah. So I spent there around also like 2 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So in the beginning was just me and the ceramist, and then I think also like I learned a lot because it was just me and him. So like he would give me 100% of his attention and correct me everything, teach me about aesthetic because he was very into like aesthetic work. He was a
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
amazing ceramist.
And he probably wanted better work out of you. So
Yes.
it behooved him to teach you. That's great.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
great partnership because you were able to give him what he was looking for and he was able to show you what he was looking for. Therefore, it's like a perfect marriage.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, I think that I understand now like how he would, spend so much time teaching me because this wasted time, kind of like, wasted time would be something that he would waste,
Hmm.
correcting my anatomy and all that, having to sometimes even remake from scratch. You would mill an Emacs and he would spend one day just like, giving
Fixing
the
it. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Take it from a ceramist. I work with my digital designer one on one, and we create our smiles together. And it's so helpful because at the end of the day, she and I are seeing things exactly the same. And when it comes out of the mill, it's just such a better product.
Yeah, yes. I know now because I'm doing also some of the finishing and
Hmm.
like finishing, staining, glazing and all that. And then I can see the difference and how the digital like can take so much of my time or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Was the ceramist nice about teaching you? Or is he one of those crabby old ceramists? No offense, Barb.
No.
Or is he one of those crabby old ceramists that was angry all the time because he wasn't getting what he wanted?
He was definitely stressed, but he was nice.
Okay, good.
I think it does make you a little crazy if you get a central and it's like 2.5 millimeters thick on the facial and you got to grind that sucker back and then fix the line angles and the contacts are tight and the margins are thick and it does. I can totally see it. It makes you a little crazy. So yeah, so it benefited him to teach you because it probably made his life a hell of a lot easier too.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I mean, now that I'm again working at a busy lab,
Yeah.
I can see why, because he would stay long hours. Sometimes I would go home and he would stay later, and it takes a toll on, you. And so every time he was 90% nice, but then sometimes we would get,
Ten
we would
percent
get,
aggressive.
yeah, exactly. We would get a bit sour with each other, but I think that's normal in every like relationship, even like work relationship.
Oh yeah.
Especially if there's just two of you.
Yeah.
No one else to be angry with. So.
Yeah, he has to be angry with me otherwise. Yeah.
So 6 days with exocad. So I don't use exocad. So what did you like best about that design software?
I used Sirona before, and I nowadays I see 3Shape, and I can compare a little bit. But since I didn't use it as much as I use exocad, I can't really point out all the pros and cons. But what
Hmm.
I can say, like, about exocad is it's a bit of a learning curve, like a longer learning curve, because there are so many options, so many tools, so many ways to get to the same result, but in like different ways. You can go like on the expert mode, and then you can navigate through the steps without one actually being in the way of the other step, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's what I like, the freedom of, being able to do basically anything. And also, after you learn it, because there are so many tools, when you actually get the hang of it, when you actually understand, I think it's the most powerful CAD software that I've seen so far. I know there's like people that defend one and defend other. But since I'm a big exocad user, I mean, like, I know the possibilities. I'm in the groups, I see what people do, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
you know
makes a lot of sense to somebody that doesn't use it. But we've heard that a lot. Elvis and I have interviewed exocad users and the different design softwares, but we always hear that there's so many different tools and so many different ways to get to where you're going, that that's what they love most about the software.
Yes, yes.
There are so many options.
Yeah, it's a bit overwhelming, but that's the thing. Like, when you actually, learn all the things, all the little, tweaks and all that, then you're like, when you're stuck in a work, and then you're like, oh, in the other softwares, you might have to restart from scratch when you,
Right.
bump into something that was not planned. But in
Hmm.
exocad, you have a lot of ways to actually go around it, and make it work and not have to start from scratch. That's what I like the most.
Isn't that something though that you have to really dig in and figure out though? I'm sure you spent hours and hours and hours and hours learning all of those different things just to become a teacher and be able to teach it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And also, as I said, like, I had the industrial design background, so I remember when I was in college that the professor was teaching about rhinoceros, for example, and I was the student that we used to like help the others because I was
Yep.
always like finished early, and then I would go and help everyone else. So I think also, like, I'm a gamer and I'm a bit of a nerd, so that kind of helped
So is
me.
Elvis.
So yeah, I think this, like, background of being a bit of into technology and into this kind of thing kind of helped me.
Yeah.
In exocad, it's kind of like an open system. You can go and change default parameters if you go to the codes that developers use to create the software.
Ah, yeah.
You can do that in exocad?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can
Crazy.
change everything, like all the icons.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Like,
For me, yeah.
you can end up crashing the software, but that's why, like, I always do a backup. Like, I save the file before I change anything, because
yeah.
if I do something wrong, I just go back. So for example, I even, like, when I was doing the course for IDD, I went so deep into that I actually, like, I created my own virtual articulator.
Hmm.
Yeah, I changed the colors from another virtual articulator, and then I did some, like, changes on the colors and all that, and then I could import my own virtual articulator in the software just by changing the codes from inside the software. So that's, for me, it's like, that's crazy.
Wow.
I'm just surprised there's software out there that allows you to do that because so much could go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. But they do say, like, if you want to go there, just be careful.
Yeah. Tread lightly.
Yeah.
If you go there, you better be smart enough to get out of there, is my thoughts.
Yeah.
You were working with the one ceramist. What took you to New Zealand?
So yeah, I spent 2 years in that lab. We grew during that. Like, it was just me and him, and then there was another ceramist, and then I was designing for both. And then at one time I was like, no, I'm too busy. I need, yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this anymore, just.
Yep.
And then they hired someone to help me, but it was also someone that was learning. So I used to teach this new guy, and then he would help me. But also the same that happened to me in the beginning, like I would spend hours just correcting his work and all that. So yeah. So at one point, I was doing also freelance design during my extra hours.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would have some.
You designed all day,
And
and then you went home and designed for other people?
Exactly.
wow.
That's a bit crazy, but I would stay so late, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then I would wake up and go to work. And then,
Oh my
it's just,
gosh.
yeah, that's why it took all my energy and all my, everything that
That's
I
probably
had.
you were like, all right, get somebody else in here or I'm gonna snap.
That's exactly how I was feeling at the time.
Yeah.
And then, I think I see a lot of this freelance designing happening mostly in, third world countries.
Yeah. I get emails almost once a week
Oh, that's great.
or a message on Facebook or Instagram.
For what?
Yeah.
People wanting to do designs. I was like, I don't even have designs for you to do. They
Yes.
just see my name. I'm associated with the lab, and I get the messages all the time. I have no idea how legit they are.
Wow.
I don't know, but
Yeah, it's been getting a bit crazy. Like now that I'm working in New Zealand, I also get these approaches.
yeah.
Like people wanted to to freelance, and then it's like $1 per unit. I'm like, what? $1 per unit? What are you
That's
doing?
like
Insane.
nothing.
That's
Jeez.
nothing. I mean, like, it's hard to say because I know that for some people that's a lot. Like if they
Sure, yeah.
because $1 in like really undeveloped countries, that's a lifesaver. But at the same time, I'm looking at the market right now, and I'm like, okay, like what's going on with this? Like, where do we go from here? If it's $1, it's gonna be 50 cents, and then it's gonna be 10 cents, and then like,
Nothing.
Yeah. How can you even afford the software doing it that cheap? That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think they use the legit one.
Oh, I got one of those messages too once. Wanted to sell me bootleg software of exocad 3. I was like, what?
Yes.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. I mean, people, yeah, they go crazy. They go crazy. And there was a exocad experts group. I don't know if you
Yeah,
were, yeah. And it got like shut down from Facebook because of the piracy and
Oh,
all this stuff.
jeez, yeah.
So I think like, yeah, I feel the freelance market now, it's like Hunger Games. It's just like people killing each other. It's crazy.
So when you started, were you using the software from the lab or did you purchase your own?
Yeah, I was using from the lab. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah, but then like, at one point it was not, it was not like so good anymore because I was getting so tired, and also I just felt like I needed a bit more free time. You know what I mean? Like,
Social life, sure.
Absolutely.
and so I told them that like, look, I can't do this anymore. I just like need I'm gonna do just freelancing like from now on. Yeah, I like did some of that, but right after that I met Dr. Ahmad, which was so crazy because I was approaching people like these emails that you're getting always.
So that's how you did it. You just reach
Yeah.
out to random people?
But not like in like
A creepy
there's-
way.
yeah, not in a creepy, because I not in a creepy way.
I'm being a smart ass from how hard you tried to get into your first lab, and Elvis said that's a little creepy.
I was like trying to at first get like a interaction, because I think that's important, right? Because
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
because that's totally, if you just like, hey, my name is this, I do this, my price is this, and let me know if you need something. That's a bit like not
personal.
yeah, like not personal, and just it doesn't feel right, because I always like to have communication with the clients. I think that's so important, because what I do 100% depends on what the patient wants, and if there's no communication between the CAD designer and the person requiring the freelance, I don't actually know what to do, and then I will do something that the patient doesn't want, and then the work is going to be declined, and it's just so much work. So I like this communication thing, and that's how I followed Dr. Ahmad first, and then I liked some posts. I sent some when he posted the stories. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, that's amazing. Well, and then at a point I was like, look, if you want to work together, like, I'm a freelancer from Brazil. And then he was right away, he said, like, come work with us. That's the first thing he replied to me.
Not, yes, let me send you some work. It was, come halfway across the world and work for us.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like,
that's pretty ballsy of him.
Yes.
That was him being creepy.
He didn't even know me. And I was like, are you sure? Like, do you want to like talk first? I don't know. And then I think he saw my work because I'm very active on social media. I think
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
saying he does that a lot. He follows people on Instagram and checks out what they're doing. So I'm sure he was impressed, obviously.
Yes. So I was very lucky that that's why I always tell people how important Instagram is, because it's not only social platform. It's just like it completely changed my life. And nowadays it's just the most powerful tool, to do anything, to do any kind of work. If you got a good Instagram, and that's basically your portfolio online, and people will
Yeah, makes sense.
contact you. Yeah.
Yep.
That's how half the people get on this podcast,
Exactly.
to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
Bingo.
See.
So he contacted you and said, come work. So how long did it take for you to say yes? Like, where did you go from there?
Yeah, so at first I was like,
Are you crazy?
okay.
Yeah, there had to have been that moment. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I think the first thing I did was like open Google and like New Zealand. And then
Where is New Zealand?
because if you think about it, it's like very small. Like, I know it's well known for nature, like Lord of the
Big
Rings and all
movies.
that.
Yeah,
movies,
Lord of the Rings.
But overall, I was like, okay, like, what is New Zealand? Like, what do they do? What do they eat? Let's see. Like,
Sure.
and especially for me, like, if you go from Brazil to the Australia or New Zealand, it's so far away. It took me 2 days, like, just
Wow.
to arrive here. So it took me around like 1 month to get back to him. I was thinking about it because I had just bought an apartment of the plans in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
So I was paying monthly, they were still building the apartment. So I was very excited, to have my
Sure.
own apartment. It's just like a big thing to me, right?
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to leave everything behind and just start all over again in a new country. So I had to think about it, like that's huge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it took me like 1 month, and then I was like, you know what? If I don't do it, I will never know, and it will always be that what if, what if?
Yeah.
Did you talk to your mom about it and be like, okay, you got me in this career?
Help me decide now. Yeah, like my mom, it was very cute actually, because I mean, the English that I have now talking to you guys, it was like way worse 1 year ago. It was like, you can see by the course, it's not like this.
Yeah, you're better now.
Yeah.
Not that it was bad, but
Yeah. It's just like I learned English like, in school and all that. It's not like talking every day, being able to train every day is different.
sure. Yeah.
And then I did the online interview with Dr. Hamid, which is the Dr. Ahmad's father.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got to talk to his dad.
Yeah. He's the kind of like the lab owner. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And we did the interview, and my mom was actually like listening behind the door. She didn't tell. Yeah, like I didn't know that. And then when I opened the door, she was crying, and then she hugged me, and she's like, I'm so proud of you. And we cried, like I just, because I think also she knew that I was going. So it was that moment when she like, okay,
I'm losing my girl.
Yeah, oh my God.
No.
I get emotional just to think about it.
Oh, I bet.
But she's very proud. Like, she always says she couldn't be more proud of the small amount of time that I'm in the industry, and being courageous to just leave everything behind and go to a new country. And yeah, just it's been a roller coaster.
Great word. I mean, as young as you are, with an apartment and all the learning, to just be like, you know what, I'm going to do it. Like, that's like you said, 2 days, 2 full days away. I mean, that's a long way away, leaving your family and just going for it. It is courageous.
Yeah, it's crazy. But when I started talking to Dr. Ahmad, I saw about the Institute of Digital Dentistry, and the lab that I work for is IDD Lab, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of part of the institute as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw they had so many like different 3D printers, milling machines, all the newest technology, all the softwares, everything. And I was like, if I can't lose this opportunity like
Yeah.
that.
Is that what drew you in? All their technology? When we talked to him, we have all the scanners and we have all the mills. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Like when I saw that, I was like, I don't think there's anywhere else that I could be so in contact with all of these, like that's
Yeah.
once in a lifetime. And I'm always trying to learn kind of like as fast as possible, because when I started learning about dental technology, I had already a degree. I was around 26 or 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I always saw people, oh, I work in a dental lab since I was 14 because my father is a
Oh,
dental
yeah.
Yeah.
technician,
Yep.
So there were people that I knew, same age as me, who had like 10 years experience in the area.
Sure.
And I
Yep.
was like, oh gosh, I think I'm
I gotta
late.
catch up.
Yes, I gotta catch up, bro. And then I think that's why I got so obsessed about it. Like I would study so much. I would spend so many hours just like studying, just doing cases in my free time. Even like it was nothing from the lab, I would just pick some stuff up to train myself.
But it paid off. I mean, you learned exocad in what, 2020?
Yes, yeah, 2020.
And in 2023, you're teaching people how to use it that have been in the industry for 20 plus years.
Yep.
That is pretty impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of crazy when I think about it.
It was only 3 years ago.
Yes.
And having to learn better English to be able to do it. Like, it's just like, wow.
Yes. Oh, you guys have no idea to record the course, because then like I was applying
Oh,
for
I'm going to ask all sorts of questions about the course. We're going to get there.
So it was crazy because I was applying for the visa and it takes a long time, right? It's like a work visa, and then you have to have lots of documents and translate everything with a certified translator. And then
Oh, geez, yeah.
then the immigration has to, analyze everything, and then they ask for more documents, and then you go back
Wow.
and forth. Like it
Yeah.
took 6 months, I guess, for like approval.
Paperwork nightmare.
So
Yes.
after you said, yes, I'll move there a month, it was still 6 months before you were approved to move there?
Yes, around that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the longest job interview ever.
Yes.
Did you do work for them while you were waiting to move there?
Not really. Yeah, like I did before before the interview, they sent, I think, like 2 or 3 cases, but just to, kind of see what I was doing.
Sure.
But I think they just kind of like trusted, because to be honest, like even if for example, if I didn't know how to do it, I could send someone to design and then send it to them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
not a proof that I know what I'm doing.
Right.
So I think they just trusted that, whatever I posted was legit and I actually knew what I was talking about. Because
Mhm.
That's awesome.
yeah, nowadays I see a lot of people that have a good Instagram and all that, but when you actually see them work, they're not like, like I kind of
We
judge
don't think
some.
you did that.
Yeah.
Did you bait and switch that picture?
Photoshop stuff and all
Yeah,
that. So
Yeah.
and then during this approval time, then Ahmad gave me the idea, like, are you interested in doing a course, like an exocad course? And I was like, I'm interested, I just don't know if I can handle that.
So before you even worked for him, you came up with this idea.
Yes, I was still in Brazil when I recorded.
No kidding. I didn't know
Wow.
that.
Yeah. So that was the crazy thing, because my English was way worse and I was actually like so nervous, and I didn't have any idea of the technical words, because we know, like, for technical work, we have specific words for stuff that when you put it on Google Translator, for example, it's not the same.
There's one technical term you used during the course that you always mispronounced? And I'm not one to say anything. I mispronounce things all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you mispronounce last names all the time.
Yeah. But there's just like, I don't know what it was that you said. It was like cervical. You would say it just a little off, and it was.
Oh, I think I know. It's gingiva.
Yes!
Yeah.
That's totally it.
Sorry. Oh my God. I'm so
it's
embarrassed.
No, don't be embarrassed. It's just like the first time you hear it, you're like, what did you say?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that.
It's like, I'm going to tell you why this happened. So, first thing, I had to record the class first in Portuguese.
You did the whole thing in 2 languages?
Yes. So, like,
Oh, wow.
I would first record in Portuguese and then re-watch it. And then I would transcribe everything that I said in Portuguese and add some stuff. Like if I missed a tool that I needed to show, I was just like write it down. And then I would get this text in Portuguese and then I would send it to like AI to translate to English.
Smart. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
That is insane.
yeah. So like the AI would translate and also read like a, you know, when you have like Google Translator and then
Yeah.
So it's not Google Translator, it's another one. I don't remember now which one I used. But then this voice, she read gingiva, and I don't know why. And I just repeated, like, you know, and then because when I was recording, probably you can't see because of my hair, but I was wearing headphones, like the AirPods.
Oh, no, yeah.
And I was listening to the voice, reading the text, and
Oh, I had no idea.
yeah.
Damn, that's smart. I'm telling you what, you've got it going on. I can't even imagine. Wow.
Yes.
So you're doing this along with, obviously, a screen showing you do the work. You weren't doing
Yes.
that at the same time you're recording yourself?
No, like the screen recording was done first, and then after that I would put the screen recording to play, and at the same time I would read a text from a teleprompter and hear the voice also, like, you know, reading the text, because then I would know exactly when I would. Oh, that's so confusing, like even to explain it is just.
No, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You made the whole script doing it in Portuguese the first time, right?
Yes.
That's crazy. I had no idea. How long did this process take?
3 months.
Yeah, I'm
3
sure.
months.
Yeah, it sounds like it took 3 years.
Yes. And that's how I felt too. I was like, I'm doing this for years now, and it was just like 3 months.
Did you have to edit everything, or did somebody else edit?
So I pre-edited. So like I kind of sent them where I wanted my voice to start, because the
Yeah.
people editing, they don't know, you know, the tools and what I'm showing.
Sure.
Yeah. So I used to like kind of cut what I was saying and kind of put into place. Like I need this to start at 1:38 minutes from, you know.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also I had some screenshots and some other stuff that I needed to add to the course. And then I would write like a notepad, like put, you know, dot png at minute
Wow.
X.
That's
Yeah. I had to do that for each class, and it was like 8 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a pretty long package when it's all said and done. 8 hours. How many hours do you think you spent recording?
Yeah, we actually had it because they used ClickUp to do some of the like recording the hours and all that. I think it took me around like 500, 400.
Wow.
That's
But
crazy.
it's like, yeah, because it's not only recording, it's you know, from writing to record,
Yeah.
pre-edit, and then to add the screenshots and examples and all that extra information that needed. So everything took around 500 hours for me, and then IDD team had more, like I don't know, like 1,000 hours working on it.
So has the good doctor asked you to come up with another course that you're going to say yes to?
Well, they always have some ideas. The only problem now is that I'm working here now in New Zealand, and the lab is getting very busy, and then like it's just hard to find time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to do more, and we are going to keep updating the course because, well, digital dentistry keeps changing every time, right?
Yeah.
So like every 1 year you have updates, you have new stuff, you have. So if you don't update, it's just going to be, I think forgotten in the past.
Yeah.
So I do have some ideas already, that some classes that I want to record and then add to that. So people that have access to it will have like constant updates with new classes.
Well, also exocad updates. I don't know what version you were using in the course, but the version I was kind of going along with, things were slightly different.
Yes.
So I think it's a newer version, maybe.
Yes,
It
yes.
wasn't undoable, but just like, you were like, click here. And I'm like, I can't click here. It's over here.
Yes. That's because I recorded with a 3.0 Galway. And usually, I think the version now it's 3.1 Rijeka.
Rijeka, yeah.
Yeah, so
You got to record it all again.
yes, everything from scratch. So the idea we have is like comparing the 3.0 to, doing a case with both and then showing like, the differences and all that. But, from this 3.0 to 3.1, it's a minor update. It's not like major. If you go from 2.4 to 3, that's like major changes.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, it was just a few things I
Yeah.
noticed that weren't exactly the same. And you said you recorded that all in Brazil. Was that,
Yes.
not to sound creepy, that's your bedroom that was awfully clean in the background?
Yeah, that's actually my partner's because I have a dog and he barks a lot. So that's also something I needed to record after midnight sometimes. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, somebody keeps their room very clean.
Yes, no, but that's like a scenario. I used to come and just, put everything in the right place and organize everything before I record.
Nice.
It's not always that clean.
Yeah. He brought you out there, and did you just jump in and be a designer? Is that what he brought you over for?
So during the interview, they also asked me like, can you stain and glaze? Can you do layering? Like what else can you do, right? And I said, look, my expertise is CAD design. Like I'm very good at it and I'm very fast. They are actually pretty impressed because when I was in Brazil, I was doing around 600 units per month. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so like I just learned how to be productive with with the workflow. So they asked me that because they said it's a small lab. Like now we are growing, but it's me and two Asians, like one Korean, one Chinese, and everybody kind of does everything. Like if I design, I mill myself, and then I sinter myself, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
So it's not like big labs where you have different sectors like CAD CAM,
Sure.
and the ceramics.
Is that lab in the same building as a practice? Because I know he's got like a bunch of practices.
Yeah, it's inside one of the practice, the biggest one, but it's starting to get small for us. We might be moving next year.
Wow.
Do you get to see patients?
So sometimes like to take the shade or get some feedback. They do call us and see the patient.
Is that your first experience dealing with the patient?
Yes.
Do you like it?
I think it's hard to say. Like now I'm having, for example, one All-on-X case where the patient is around like 85 years old.
Oh, wow.
But she brought like a picture of a model from around like 20 years old.
Oh,
And she
yes.
said, yeah,
That's
she
so
said,
fun.
and
Yep.
she said, I want this smile. And I'm like, oh my God, how do I say that? Anyway.
Yep.
You turn off the lights and say, here you go.
Yeah. And then like she comes like she wants to see me design for
Oh,
her.
really?
Yeah, like for her to point out what she wants. So
Yep.
there was one time
Oh, yeah.
she sat on the side and it was just like, can you make the canines like this? She doesn't know canines, right? She just points and be like, I
Yeah,
want this
yeah.
longer, I want this. So sometimes it's a bit annoying, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get it.
I have a
Yeah.
patient like that right now, and she wants
Oh,
to
yeah.
design her case, and she's being completely unreasonable, and I'm going to choke her. So I said, you know what? Take my design, make a copy of it, and draw on it exactly what you think you're looking for. And I haven't heard from her since.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
crazy.
the thing. I don't know. They know what they want at the end because
Right.
they have
Yeah.
expectations that if they
Hmm.
have this smile, they're gonna look like this, and then when they try it on, they see like, well, that's not how it works. So I'm doing like the third time the trying for her. So
Oh,
yeah, sometimes a bit annoying, but I feel overall here in New Zealand, people are not so into aesthetics. I don't know. That's
Really?
yeah.
Huh.
I think like culturally, they don't care about the appearance. Like it's really funny. People go to the supermarket, for example, they go barefoot and they go in
What?
pajamas. Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Barefoot?
Interesting.
yeah. There's a big
Gross.
culture.
Many years. Well, the dog didn't like that.
Yeah.
That must be Cuppy. Cuppy's like, what the hell? You got to put shoes on when you go to the grocery store, people.
Yes. And it's like not even depending on the no financial position of the
Hmm,
people. It's
they're
just
just
cultural.
casual.
Yeah,
Huh,
yeah.
wow.
And then I think everyone just look like they just, I mean, not everyone, but like 90%, they just want to have something in their mouth. Doesn't care if it's actually beautiful or not. So yeah, I don't feel as much pressure as I did in Brazil with the aesthetic. Like they also always wanted something so perfect and so white and so, like Hollywood smile and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that. And in here, it's completely different. It's more
Not a
chill.
lot of bleach shades in New Zealand?
No, almost like I did
That's
one time.
crazy.
One time I did a BL in 10 months.
Yeah. Everybody else is D4.
Yeah. E4.
D4, that's crazy.
So what's next for you? So you said you were there for 10 months. Are you going home? Was it only like a visa?
So yeah, I'm on a work visa now for 3 years. It's how long it's valid for. So I'm almost like on my first year, and then I'll have two more. After that, I mean, I have some things that I need before I can request residency.
Right. Do you think you want to live there, like live there, live there?
That's a tricky question.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I really like it here. It's very peaceful. It's very beautiful, like the nature. I've never seen, like, I lived in the US already in
Hmm.
Delaware because I did my senior year in high school there.
Nice.
Yeah, so like it was only for 6 months or like a quick exchange program, but I was 17 at the time. So I travel in the US, I lived in Germany as well. So I've been to a couple of places, and New Zealand is like very beautiful, like very nice place. But it's very far away from home, and that's something that I need to consider before, making the final decision if I want to stay or not.
Understood. That makes perfect
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah.
I bet you miss your mom. Has your mom come to see you, or have you gone back and forth at all, or just over there and that's it for 3 years?
Yeah, so it's so expensive and so, hard to come here that
Yeah.
we actually haven't seen each other, and we are like
Aw.
looking for some flight tickets and all, but it's around like 3K, like
Yeah. I was thinking
to
that. Yeah.
yeah, because you have to cross the Pacific Ocean, which
Hmm.
is huge. Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's like 18 hours on a plane. Yeah.
That's a little much.
Yes. Can you imagine? And there's no
No.
land. It's
Yep.
just like if something happens, you're
Bye
never
bye.
gonna find you. Just like yeah.
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 And then because of that, the planes cannot be full when they fly in to come here. So that's
Hmm.
why the flight tickets are a bit more expensive.
Oh, that makes sense. Huh.
Yeah. But again, like I'm trying to just enjoy my time here. I'm learning so much. I feel like I've learned in 10 months what I learned in 4 years, like
Yeah.
I'm just having so much time to, deal with different printers, different resins. They're also very cool to like if you want to try stuff, you can try. Don't Doesn't matter about material, like
Hmm.
there's an institute as well. So for them it's also good that we try stuff that
Oh
we,
yeah. Yeah, and he's got a lot of respect and he goes on and says, "Hey, we use this and we tried this and this is good and this is," and nobody's paying, him to use their materials or their equipment. And I just think
yeah.
that's just impartial. It's a great experience. And I'm sure you guys have access to a ton of new technology,
Yes,
which
basic
everybody
almost
loves
everything.
technology.
Sometimes.
Sometimes exactly.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to try like a new kind of, I don't know, zirconia, you could just mention it and they're all on board?
Yes, exactly. Just
That's
like,
awesome.
just, we say like, oh, we're gonna try this, we're gonna try that. Usually it's fine. Like, sometimes Ahmad can get it through IDD. Sometimes we, order material, and yeah, we've been trying a lot of stuff, and that's why I think that's the best way to learn, to actually like trial and error,
Yeah.
because you can read it in a blog or watch a video on YouTube, and you never know like if it's exactly how it is. Sometimes I would watch tutorials and I would try, and then it's like, well, it doesn't look like the video, like it's a bit weird.
Yep.
That's why I think like I'm learning very, very fast and a lot, and I'm just so grateful. Yeah, just so grateful to be here.
Nice.
You're one of the fastest learners I've ever met.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah.
Thank
I
you.
mean, your story only started,
Yeah.
5 years ago? Other than, your CAD background, but into dental and where you're at now,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you for spending all that time to do a course. I've mentioned on this podcast a few times, IDD, the Institute of Digital Dentistry.com. That exocad course that you did, amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
Elvis had nothing but positive things, honestly, to say about that course and how much he learned and how amazing you were. So,
Oh, I feel
well
so happy
done.
to hear that. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, Elvis or Barb, if you want to, watch the course too. And if you have any questions, you can, send me on my socials, and I'll be happy to help you guys.
Will you do my design work? Can I send that to you?
Yeah, of course, of course. Not in a creepy way though.
No.
Well done. On point.
And also, just one thing, me
Yeah.
and Julian from IDD, we made a discount for people listening to the podcast. So
Oh, wow.
Well, that's fantastic.
yeah, if you guys listening want to go check it out, it's Voices, and then you get 10% off on the checkout.
Oh, nice.
Wow, that's
Yes.
fantastic. Thank you.
Yes.
100% worth it for
Yep.
anyone wanting to learn exocad.
Yes.
Thank
I
you,
think
guys.
every lab that uses exocad should just have this program for when they hire people. It's just that good. It's just a no-brainer. And thank you for doing it, and thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much for
Good luck
inviting
to
me,
you.
guys. Yes, thank you, thank you.
Great to meet you, and hopefully you'll get back to the States sometime and maybe go to a dental show.
Oh yes, yeah. I plan to. I really
Nice.
do. Maybe not this year, but the next one maybe. I'll try. I'll let you guys know, and then we can meet in person.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
Love it. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Marjorie, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye. Have you ever wanted to learn exocad? Do you find learning a new design software overwhelming or just too costly because you have to go to a course that takes a whole weekend? Even if you've never used a design software before, we have the perfect solution for you to begin your exocad journey. Head over to instituteofdigitaldentistry.com and select the Mastering exocad course. Broken down into 3 segments, the amazing Marjorie will take you through fundamentals, then immediate, and then advanced courses, leaving you with the confidence to tackle most cases that come into your lab. I personally am going through all 70 lessons and find it one of the most thorough courses that I can take at my own pace. And for being a listener of the podcast, if you enter the code VOICES, which is VOICES, when checking out, IDD will take an additional 10% off any course they offer. And they offer a ton of content for labs and clinics. Head over to the instituteofdigitaldentistry.com for this episode's show notes for more information.
A huge thanks to Marjorie for being such an amazing badass coming on our podcast to tell your story. It's really amazing that somebody went to dental school that only met 2 days a month in Brazil, ended up teaching others how to design with exocad in New Zealand only a few years later. It takes a lot of balls. I think we both said that before, for you to do what you did. So congratulations. Cannot wait to see what you do next. If you guys want to check out her course, head over to the Institute of Digital Dentistry.com and select the Mastering exocad course. And don't forget, use the code VOICES and you get 10% off this and other courses on their site. Thank you, Marjorie. You're amazing. Good luck to you, lady.
We appreciate it. But you know what? As we wrap up 2023, we appreciate everybody that's been listening, tuning in, people that have come on the podcast, our amazing sponsors that have supported us. We're really looking forward to 2024. We already got Visions lined up, Lab Day Chicago lined up, exocad in Spain lined up.
I don't even feel like we're not missing any momentum. Like, we're getting faster and better and growing, and I'm so proud of us. And thank you, because if it wasn't for our listeners, we wouldn't be in us.
It's all about the listeners in this amazing industry that I'm happy to be a part of.
Ditto. That's all I got is ditto. And Merry Christmas, you guys. I hope you spend time with your families. Please don't work or even think about doctors or any sort of dental technology at all today. Just let it go, except for this podcast, of course. And enjoy your day.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for you. We're wrapping it up. We will talk to you in 2024. Have a good one.
Yeah.
For 272 hours, I think I've gotten to know you a little bit.
I know you have.